Hey there. Today I want to share with you a deeply personal thing that happened to me recently. It was a profound shift in my relationship with my 89-year-old mother, who's in the final stages of life and living with dementia. I recently visited my mom, who lives with my brother and his wife, and she'd been living independently her whole life until the last couple of years. She raised 3 kids on her own when my father left when I was 8. She's been a tireless worker, building a life really on her own terms. In this visit, there was something different that occurred. The woman who had refused to use her walker despite barely being able to shuffle around, who insisted on doing the cleaning even though her body was fighting it and protesting. There was some softening that occurred in here. There was a grace about her that frankly I'd never seen before. In however many months I have left, she said, which was surprising to hear from her mouth, especially in such a matter-of-factly tone. Months, she said, not years. What struck me wasn't just what she said, but how she said it, without the hysteria or the sadness that I would have expected to accompany such words in the past. My always feisty mother was seemingly making peace with her mortality. We even had a conversation about her funeral arrangements, a topic that always bothered her and she brushed off. I took a curious approach and ended up creating a list of hymns for her to listen to, and we decided on the hymns that she chose and a location for her burial and other preferences for the funeral. The most poignant aspect of this journey has been watching her finally accept help. From using adult diapers to having a caregiver assist her with her daily routines. The fierce independence that she's cherished for so long that defined her has given way to a different kind of strength. One of courage to accept limitations. It wasn't until my drive home, and it's a long 12-hour drive, that emotions overtook me. Tears came suddenly welling up with such intensity. It was decades of unresolved feelings around our relationship, a sense of loss for what could have been and frankly never will be. Rather than repressing these feelings, which we men tend to do, I recognized that this is actually a gift. I let them flow, trusting that this release was exactly what was needed for me. And this is what I've come to understand, that we men carry oceans of unprocessed grief around our parents. Grief that doesn't wait for death to be relevant. It lives in our bodies, and it often creates environments for disease, dis-ease, and disconnection. If you're a man in midlife watching this, I invite you to consider what unprocessed emotions you might be dealing with or carrying with you around your parents. We've been conditioned to believe that pushing these emotions down and keeping them deep inside is the thing to do. It isn't. It's effectively storing them where they fester and influence our relationships, our health, and our capacity for joy. The profound shift I experienced came spontaneously, but yours doesn't have to. You can intentionally explore these territories, as uncomfortable as they may be, and preferably with some support. The liberation and peace that comes from this work is really transformative. When communicating with aging parents, remember, you're coming into this with decades of established patterns. Your saboteurs, those niggly voices of negativity, will be there, ready to hijack the conversation. And you can prevent this by approaching the conversation from a sage perspective, catching those saboteurs when they arise, not reacting to triggering comments, and letting go of the need to correct their version of events. Remember, it's not about the words. It's really about your presence. So take it slow. Take some deep breaths when you're triggered. Stay present rather than falling into past stories or future worries. My mother's gradual surrender to her limitations has paradoxically revealed her strength. In accepting help, in making peace with mortality, she's showing me a different kind of courage. There's wisdom in this surrender. What if we could embrace it sooner? If this resonates with you, I invite you to join the Midlife Wisdom Circle, a Facebook group that I've created, or explore mental fitness coaching with me. The link is in the description. Thank you for listening to this personal story I'd love to hear your experience with your aging parents or the loss of your parents in the comments below. Have a great day.